ơn các bạn đã quay lại với podcast What I See của VinUni Research Club. Lần này, chúng mình xin giới thiệu về một series mới mang tên Hi, Can You Explain? Nơi mà chúng mình sẽ cùng đối thoại với các giáo sư về chuyên gia về những vấn đề mà các bạn trẻ còn nhiều thắc mắc. Tập đầu tiên của series, chúng mình có được sự tham gia của giáo sư Kok Seng từ trường đại học VinUni, cùng với bạn Nguyễn Tuấn Anh, sinh viên năm 2 của trường đại học VinUni và đang là thực tập sinh tại Viettel Cybersecurity, để đối thoại về vấn đề an ninh mạng. Cảm ơn các bạn vì đã lắng nghe và đồng hành cùng VinUni Research Club. Lưu ý, vì lý do bảo mật, tên của một số tổ chức, tập đoàn đã được nhắc đến trong tập podcast đã được cắt ra. Hello, welcome to VinUni Research Club. And I'm Wong Kok Seng. I'm from the Bachelor of Business Administration. Here today, we are launching our new series, Hi, Can You Explain? Where we invite guests from different fields to use their expertise to explain that field to us. And today's episode is on cybersecurity. And with me today, I have Professor Kok Seng, a professor of the College of Engineering and Computer Science, and Nguyễn Tuấn Anh, a sophomore in computer science. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
First of all, can you give us a brief introduction about yourselves, starting with Tuấn Anh?
Okay, so I'm Tuấn Anh. I'm the sophomore in CS of VinUni. About cybersecurity, I am working as a president of VinUni Hacking Club, the InfoSec club in VinUni, and also I'm taking an internship in Viettel Cybersecurity about application exploit. And yeah, I think that's all basic thing about me. Yeah, we can.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Cybersecurity War. And my name is Kok Seng Wong, and I'm professor from the College of Engineering and Computer Science at VinUni University. So my research interest is on information security, in particularly on the data privacy protection. So in today's talk, we are going to discuss a lot of topics related to cybersecurity and also something related to data privacy.
All right. So for some warm-up questions, can you share what took you into this field and why did you decide to pursue this field as your hobby or career?
Me first? Oh, okay. So back to when I'm a small child, I quite like playing video games, and one thing that most gamers do is install crack games, no payment, but of course it a lot of virus and bad software inside. From the statistic of my dad, about 2 months he will take my home computer to the store because I broke everything off. So one of my engagement to the cybersecurity is to fix my computer by myself. Like back to when I'm maybe at my primary school, I can start fix some basic stuff about computer first. And yeah, later on, when I'm a high school student, after trying with competitive programming, yeah, I am quite don't like it anymore, so I play capture the flag, the security competition, and from now on, yeah, I love it. I think.
Okay, for my case, during my time, security actually is still one of the largest things that ethical trying to attack. However, that time, we do not have a good infrastructure in terms of the network, in terms of the hardware, and also the techniques. So for my case, I start from the security interest, but after that, I moved to data privacy because I always believe that data privacy will be one of the biggest things that everyone going to talk about. For example, now we are having machine learning, we are having a lot of AI system. So without privacy protection, actually those machine learning or AI application actually not possible to be put into the real world application.
All right. So let's get into our topic today. Since most of our activities are moving towards the online world, and that means that cybersecurity is getting more and more important over the days, but not many people are well educated and well equipped with the knowledge needed to protect themselves from these threats. And many of them don't even know what cybersecurity is. So can you give us a general and intuitive definition of what are the elements of cybersecurity?
Elements? I think like everything online, it can be hacked. Yes. So like the application on the website, it can be hacked. Something installed on your computer is also can be hacked. And even you can be hacked too. Yes, so cybersecurity cover, yeah, like the protection of the software stuff, like, and also hardware stuff and human stuff. How to say, like we have the technical attack to the system and also non-technical attack, and cybersecurity cover it all. I can't think. Yeah, maybe Professor will go.
Yeah, in general, cybersecurity is more like an application on the technology, processes, and the way you control the hardware, software, and even the network. So how can you prevent unwanted guests or somebody without your permission to actually access to the system and also to access to the sensitive information inside? Security is a very broad area. When we talk about cybersecurity, most of the people, they will think about the unauthorized access. That will be the first thing. And also we see many different aspects like the phishing and also all other kind of the ransomware and also the viruses. So all these are actually fall into the same cybersecurity umbrella.
Okay, so you mentioned there are many concepts when it comes to cybersecurity, especially ransomware and virus. So can you elaborate a bit more on these terms?
Okay, so I think ransomware maybe is a branch of virus, right? So talking about virus first, it is a bad program. You somehow it can jump into your computer and break inside. It may broke things, steal the data from you. And with the case of ransomware, is somehow is encrypt the data and ask for your money, so that it can be decrypted by the hackers. But I think in most of the case, even you forget the money, they will still not decrypt your stuff.
Yeah, one thing to add on is that actually the development or the involvement of the ransomware nowadays is actually motivated by the cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Because many companies actually they already hacked by the hackers, and then in order for them to pay, the only way is the cryptocurrency. So when the cryptocurrency becoming more and more valuable, so the attacker actually they are trying to change, right? Instead of only hack into your system, instead of stealing your information, what they want is actually to ask money from you. So that is the idea of the ransomware.
Oh, yeah. So from what I can understand, the standpoint from a user level and an organizational level, cybersecurity are very, very different. So can you show us from a user standpoint, what typically users do? What do they do that make them so self-exploitable and vulnerable to these kinds of attacks?
So one example, when user trying to install any mobile app on the mobile phones. So most of us actually, we do not read the terms and conditions. So most of these applications actually, they can have something embedded, something like virus, or it could be any phishing or any trojans that actually embedded into the application. So from the corporate side of point of view, all right, actually they have a better system in order to actually, for example, maybe the company will restrict the staff from accessing the email outside the company network, or maybe accessing some private file outside the company. Yeah.
So back to normal user, I think, yeah, of course, like maybe everything you work on the data can have some on the online stuff can have some vulnerable. For example, like Professor has said, you install some things, and also you can be tricked to click on a link or install a file. It's even a branch of cybersecurity called social engineering, which not go to too much about technology, but about like how the hacker can trick you to install something bad and hack it on. So I think like most from instead of going through the corporation stuff, I think I prefer to talk about like the vulnerable from the user and vulnerable from the developers. I think it's more easy. Like it's a fun thing a fun thing in Vietnam is like if everyone in the bank lose money, it's because the bank like they develop bad software that have vulnerability. But if only you lost money, is because of your you are dumb because you are a bit chick. Yes. So it's many ways the vulnerabilities come, both from the technical and non-technical view.
So you mentioned data privacy, and a lot of times when people go onto the internet, they are not careful with their data. They are shown a field to input their information, and they do so without much thinking or much consideration. So can you show us like what are the dangers of exposing yourself online like this through these fields?
Okay, normally when we talk about data privacy, we always link it to the internet tattoo. So I believe that everyone know what is a tattoo, right? So when you put a tattoo on your body, all right, it's possible for you to see where is the location, and also when you want to erase it by using the latest technology, it's still possible for you to erase it. But when we talk about internet tattoo, means that you try to expose your personal information online, and then you do not know where are those informations stored or actually used by any company. So there is a very important thing that I would like to mention here is about the awareness of the user, especially when you use any kind of social media platform. When you submitted your information to the bank, when you want to apply for credit card or maybe any housing loan, you have to submit correct information in order for you to get the approval from the bank. But when you try to submit your information to the online social media, think again. Do you need to really submit your personal information, including your birth of date and also other information? So all this information, once captured by the platform, actually they can use for something called as linking attack. So linking attack is one types of attack that actually we can combine your social media information with some other public available information to actually infer an individual. So that is something that maybe we can talk later when we go to the privacy part.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to touch a bit on what you do about cybersecurity. So can you show us what's the difference between your work as a researcher and your work as a student?
So with me, my daily work is besides my study in school, I spend most of my time on reading about, with me, my favorite part is cryptography and low-level system exploitation. So I spend most of my time to playing, both reading the papers about cryptography and try to implement the proof of concept. Proof of concept is something like for example, Professor Kok Seng released like how you attack this. I try to mimic it and understand what he's doing. And also I try writing some bad softwares, but just for studying purpose, and finish my internship about like writing report about some virus and how to close this. So maybe my stuff is quite practical and touchable by students, learn from the previous version, and maybe create some of my own tweak a little bit. Yeah, so maybe most of my works are just like learning, studying, and applying. Yeah.
Okay, for my case, as a professor, we need to do a lot of research work. So I start from the information security, data privacy protection, and nowadays actually we move to something more applicable to the AI application. We call it as AI security. So as we know that actually there are many sensitive information that we cannot share. So in the traditional machine learning application, they assume that all the data can be placed in one location, central location. But that is not the case actually. So my work recently with my student is about the federated learning. So if you search from Google, you will know that federated learning is a way that we still able to train some machine learning model without sharing our personal information. So all the data will still remain at the client side without putting them into one single location. Another work that I'm working on is actually something we call it as X-ray verification protection. So recently, the researcher actually they find out that all the X-ray images that released online, actually we can do some attack. For example, I can try to find out whether two X-ray images belongs to the same patient without knowing all right, any information about the X-ray. So this is a very interesting and crucial problem in my area nowadays, because the verification rate is more than 95%. So it means that anyone who obtain an X-ray images from a target user, they can use the publicly available data to launch the attack. So this will definitely change the way the medical institutions to release the medical images to the public for research or analysis purposes.
Yeah, to follow up on your speech. So what I'm trying to ask here is, what are you trying to achieve with your work? And what is your vision for your field and your career? So how does it apply to other fields as well?
Okay, so to me, it's very clear. I would like to bring out the awareness about the data privacy protection. There are too many users, they think that they are not a celebrity. They are nobody. So nobody interested to attack them. However, when we talk about data privacy, your data could be used to leak out other people's information. For example, if you think about the social media network, maybe you do not want to let your friends know that you are here, but if I posted a picture or image and then I tag you, or maybe if we have some common friends, so indirectly, actually your friends or other people, they will try to help you to leak out your data privacy. So my ultimate goal for my research work is to bring out the data privacy awareness for the user when they use all kind of system that we have nowadays.
With me, yes, of course, also the awareness, because the most crucial key to protect the security is a human. If everyone know like what they are doing, what is the vulnerability, maybe we are all jobless. But also beside that, I work on system programming with the virus. So on another thing that I want to do is like how like developers can secure their programming so that the virus cannot exploit through the code, through the crypto system they use, kind of like that.
Okay, so I think we've covered enough of the theoretical aspect of cybersecurity for them to understand. I want to tackle more of the practical side of this matter and discuss some real cases. So my question for you all is, can you name some of these most recent and most notable cyber attacks and cyber leaks and exploitations in recent history?
So yeah, there are maybe recently maybe you heard about the attack on a gasoline company in the US. It's launched by ransomware. Or talking about ransomware, maybe you heard about the WannaCry. Yeah, it's quite famous. And yeah, most of the attack now is on the ransomware, like the hackers want the money. And also it's about the phishing attacks. Many banks, in everywhere, there are a lot of banks and many of their users. So the hacker try to mimic their website, their platform, so that trick the user to type in their sensitive data, and they can use the data like your CVV numbers of your credit card to get the money. Yes, the motivation of hackers now is for money. Yes.
Okay, maybe I can add on. Beside money, also just to show the power. All right, I mean the attacker, they would like to show that some of the systems are not good enough to protect in terms of the security, in terms of the data privacy protection. So back to your question, actually last month there was a very big case where an airline, I believe that most of us heard about the airline before. So the airline admitted that a small number of users in their system actually leak out by the staff in the company, all right, and also by some attacker. So for this kind of company, when they say a small number, to them may be a small number, but to us it could be a very huge number, all right, because as you know that they have few billion or up to billion users, right? So the attack is not only about the money, but it could happen in all different kind of sector, right? I can give you one example. In the loyalty program, for example, hotel, the loyalty program, or even for different airline. So the attacker actually they hack into the system, not to steal the money, but they try to steal the point, the loyalty point from those customer, and then they use those points to actually redeem for free stay or maybe for some upgrade from economic to the business class, right? And also from the government sector, there are many countries, right? Actually, if you go through online, right, you can see that there are many countries, government agency being hacked by the hackers, and all those information actually revealed online and is free. So the attacker, they have no intention to earn any money from there. But that is kind of a warning actually to the organization or to the government about their ability.
Yes.
So they might use this to actually ask for a bigger thing in the future. Yes.
About the real case about government, I also have an add-on is back to 2017, the Estonia, you may heard about the country, they are reveal their whole ID card of their users are reviewed by the hacker because error of a library for cryptography is a RSA leaf. So because of this is a term in cybersecurity called the zero-day attack. Zero-day attack is that when the developers build a crypto system, they think that, oh, my crypto system is very good because it's based on this theory, this theory, this theory. But later on, some bad guys found the problem inside that, and they don't release. Like normally, the security community, they have a big database of the vulnerabilities that have found yet, so that the later people can find them and secure the data. But in zero-day attack, the hacker don't release it and keep inside a small group. Back to the case of Estonian, the problem with the crypto library is known before that, like even in 1980s. But the hackers know that, they keep it and save it until the 2017, so that all the ID cards are released and upload to the hacker database. Then, of course, a whole nation IDs are released. It's very bad things.
Yeah. So I want to add on to this because you all mentioned how very big firms and governments are impacted by this, but I want to look at it on a more micro perspective. Since these big attacks have such big repercussions on these firms and governments, how are the everyday man, the average Joe, affected by this? What are the repercussions in his life, and why should he care that this attack happened? Because on social media, people have become so desensitized to this kind of news. Oh, this firm got attacked, but they've gotten so used to it that they just kind of dismiss it because there's still a disconnection between people and the online world, and they don't really pay much attention to that aspect. So how can they realize their actual impact on these daily people?
So yes, like have you been attacked by a virus?
Luckily not yet.
Okay. So with me, when I was small child, when I playing my games, it pop up like, oh, you are being hacked. You stop your games right now. Yes, it's quite annoying. Yeah, I think it's one part, especially while we are working with online stuff right now. You don't want to be interrupted by the hackers, and in some case, when your computer is attacked by a ransomware, you don't want to pay the money. The only way left is you reinstall the whole operating system, and all of your data lose, and it's quite annoying stuff.
Yeah.
And also another is you lose money. Yeah, we love money. Most of us love money. So yeah, losing money is not quite a good thing to deal with. Yeah, I think it's personal stuff that I can think about, like why some people should care about cybersecurity.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say here is not just cybersecurity in general, but these big attacks on these firms. For example, you mentioned hotel or the American airline. How are these firms' customers and users affected by this?
Like what I mentioned just now, most of us actually we may check our bank account every day. I believe that we will see whether we receive any bonus or special money every day, but we do not check our loyalty program. For example, for the Booking.com or Hilton Honor program or even any airline mileage. So we seldom check those information. So because of that, right, actually attacker, they look into this opportunity. So they just hack into the system, not only stealing the point, but also they might able to get the credit card information
Yes.
linked to your account. For example, most of us now, we try to buy items online, Shopee or Lazada and so on. And because we want to have a very convenient payment system, so we will try to store our information online as well. So those are actually opportunity for the attacker to actually perform some attack. Most of the user, they are not aware when the attacker trying to attack them. I can give you one typical example that happened to me where I received some small transaction on my credit card, which I ignore because it's just a very small amount. It's just something like $0.01, which is a very small amount. So I was aware about that and I contacted the bank, and the bank said to me that I may want to choose to cancel the card. But the problem is during that time, I'm in Vietnam, it's too inconvenient for me to cancel the card because my credit card was used for my insurance policy and so on. But I immediately blocked the card. But after a few months, I realized that every month, actually, they try to charge a very small amount into my card for many months. So when I talk about small amount, it could be just like $2 or $3. But you can imagine if they try to launch the same attack to 1 million of users, that will be a very huge amount where the user actually, they do not know what is happening behind. And some of the bank actually also they have, I know you, I'm sure you know what is the OTP, right? The one-time password. And the attacker actually, they can have something like a Trojan, or it could be some app installed on your mobile devices.
Yes.
So when you receive your OTP, they might hijack, right? We call it as the man in the middle attack. They can retrieve your OTP information, or they can modify your OTP information. So from there, actually, they are able to make some online transaction to transfer your money to other people's account. So all these are the big things that could happen to an individual. Yep.
Okay, so now we've covered that. We should have a small break before we return to our program.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so welcome back. Let's continue our previous discussion. You mentioned how credit card information can be easily leaked out if not careful. So I want to pose the question that since so much of our time online is spent shopping and browsing, and there are so many different sites that people access, so how do we know when we can safely input our credit card information and know that that site will keep our credit information secure and not use it and exploit it?
So I think like when surfing the normal apps, one thing that I found most people, maybe including me, don't read it is about the term of service and agreement. When I'm trying to have this habit, but like it's quite a long thing, but you should read about it so you may know about how your data is using. It's the first thing. And another thing is I have mentioned about the phishing attacks. The phishing attack, they mimic the site of some, like for example Shopee, they mimic the Shopee website. So one thing quite critical is you know what is the real site, what is the fake site. On Google, they have some digital literacy class. It's just quite short, about 2 or 3 hours. It guides you how to different them. So I think it's quite good course. Maybe I will have reference after the podcast to learn. And also the last thing is you should know what should be typed, what should not be typed into the system. For example, like if you are registering for an account and they right after that they ask you to enter your CVV numbers, you should think about like which charge they will apply on the account, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say that actually there is no any secure system in the world.
Yes.
Whether it is Google or whether it's a big company or even it's a bank or any corporation. So the moment when you use your credit card online, there will be already a risk. It could come from the corporate side, or it could be from the Trojan or phishing or any app installed on your mobile devices or on your computer. So instead of talking about credit card, I think now the crucial thing is about the e-wallets.
Yeah.
In many countries, including Vietnam, for example, we are having
Momo.
WinPay
Yeah.
and
Momo.
also Momo. And in many other countries, many people, they started to change. Instead of using credit card, they go for the e-wallet. And you can see that in the past 2 to 3 years during the COVID pandemic, so many people, they still prefer to use the e-wallet for the transactions. So the attacker actually trying to have different kind of attack. For example, they might call you and pretending that they are from the call center.
Yes.
So they will give you some promotions, or they might say that they have some gift or whatever information, and then they will request you to actually send them the OTP number to activate the reward or to replace the card. So all these things actually make the system, especially for the payment system, become vulnerable to different kind of attack. So not only about the credit card. And of course, if you want to use your credit card, you need to make sure that you have a very secure way. Like in many banks, they have actually like the 2-factor, where you need to enter your information and also you need to enter also your OTP. And in my country, actually nowadays, when you want to perform any banking transaction, you need another step where you have to verify your fingerprint on your mobile app. So it will be a combination, right, from the web-based system to your mobile app authentication. Yeah.
So
Okay,
can I have another one? So right now, like every system, they have additional additional methods to verify like digital signature. So I think one good advice is just follow the security step. Don't skip anything. Only the authorized can verify your like digital signature or something like that. Follow all of them. It's maybe a good choice.
You brought up a very interesting point about the terms of services, and that is, I think, the most skipped aspect of anything in our daily use. So can you show us some of the terms that we should look out for or be cautious of when reading the terms of services to know that we might be in danger of getting our data leaked?
So about term of service, I think like we are using Facebook and something like for free, and if we are using for free, we are of course the customer. They will use your data for looking how we are performing and perform advertisement. So I think when read term of service, you should read about like which data you will collected. Like some apps, they collect your name, your number, telephone number, and something like that. But don't read for some critical, like they should not collect your ID numbers. Yes. And also you should it is something like belief. Like you should believe that their system will be working good and no problems, and maybe they will not sell your data to third party, like with a social media platform. They sell the data to data analytics companies like that. So I think when during term service, you should read about like which you will be collected and how they will store and use it. They otherwise quite for big platform is quite fully.
Yeah, I might add something here. There is no free lunch in the world. So in most of the services that provided for free, actually we are paying them by using our sensitive information. So instead of subscribe to the services using the money, actually many users, when they use the free services, especially from the social platform, they're actually paying by using their sensitive information. Another example is something like a search engine. So maybe many of you do not know that actually when you use the search engine, the engine can actually do something called user profiling. So the user profiling is something like they will learn what is your search keywords, what are your browsing patterns. For example, when you search for some search engine, whether you are going to click the link from 1 to 5 or you only browse the first page. So all these behavior, we call it as a user profile, are very valuable for many different company. For example, the advertising company. So they like to use all this information to actually perform some analysis about the buying behavior or about to mine some of the, for the data mining analysis purposes as well. So all these user profiling and this kind of activity actually are very dangerous as a user.
Yeah. So a question that I think many of our listeners are curious about is, have you ever tried talking about something and then you go onto social media and you see that exact same thing listed on social media? That is a very current, very notable problem, and many of us are wondering, how does that exactly work?
That is not a new thing actually. So I believe that if you are using iPhone or if you are using the Android phone, you will be able to activate the voice command, right? For example, hey Google or hi Siri. You can see that my phone is activated. So all these devices actually they are okay. So all these technology actually they are kind of a standby. So whenever you communicate with your friends about certain item that you would like to purchase, or even something that you try to browse from the search engine, you will see that in your social media. Okay, so that is not a secret because our phone, our devices, because you enable the voice command, so actually they are listening to you.
Yeah, I think I want to add on is we should normalize this because we are using for them for free. So yeah, maybe something we have to give back them, and as long as it's not like you reveal some sensitive advertisement, yeah, you should okay with it.
Yeah, so no such thing as a free lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, so that brings up the question, is it ethical for these companies to be collecting the user data? Because there's a very interesting case study that a shopping corporation, this one girl, she was shopping and they collected her browsing patterns, and her browsing patterns showed that they would use this to suggest and send coupons to her house. And one day they started sending baby coupons, like for baby products, and which came to her father, which this is how he found out that she was pregnant. So this company somehow knew the girl was pregnant before her own father did, using their own algorithms and their own analytics. So is it ethical for these companies to be collecting these kind of information of their users and customers?
From student point of view,
It's quite a hard question. I think as it's an couples, like in normal case, you receiving your appropriate coupons. I think it's a good thing. I think the fault in here is not really related to the company, because as the girls is using the application and the company just collect the pattern themselves, they do not know that the girls is having pregnant because of unwanted reason. So they just send the coupons. I think it's not related to the companies. They're just doing what they are doing.
okay, maybe I give you another story about the autonomous vehicles. So before this, when we talk about the vehicles, so we have to use the petrol, gasoline to drive the car, right? So when we talk about autonomous vehicles nowadays, what drive the cars? Data. We need information, we need data. So if you do not provide an accurate information, then the car will not bring you to the destination. So if you want to provide the accurate information, there will be a dilemma here, whether you want to give a correct information or you do not want to give a correct information. So back to your case just now. So as a corporate, of course, we always talk about user experience. So in order for me to keep my customers, I need to give them the best experience. For example, some recommendations about the products, or maybe I can feel that they are looking for something that they may be in need, for example. So most of the consumer, right? For example, if I'm a consumer, sometimes when I try to browse the item online, I have no idea what I want to buy. So if the system itself can recommend me something that I might be interested on, then I will feel thankful to the system. So for this case, it's different, all right? So like what I said before, there will be a trade-off between your convenience and also between your data privacy. Nobody forces to give the real information to the social media platform, for example. Yes. So you can see that if the girls, she doesn't provide the exact address, or she doesn't provide exact information, including the name and also your date of birth and even the contact number. So I do not think the company able to send you or send her this information. Yes, that is my point of view.
It's a calculated risk that we all take.
Exactly. So most of the people, they try to use the private browser. I believe that
Yes.
everyone here use the private browser. It's not 100% secure because the service provider, they might still able to capture your browsing activity and so on. However, it gives you certain level of protection.
Yes.
Where for example, the social media, or it could be any other platform, they might not be able to trace your activity. Yeah, so that will be one of the possible way to reduce, but not to remove.
Yes.
We cannot reduce any risk in this internet connected world.
It is quite, talking about the private browser is quite a big myth. And the user, like, they believe like if they turn on the incognito mode, they are hiding everything. But actually, the incognito mode only hide you from recording the history. And if you want to higher protection, you should use higher technique like blocking the checkers. Like when you're surfing on Facebook, they of course there's some checking codes, like recording how much you click on the ads and something like that. Some extension on your browser can be installed to block this. This is on level protection, and we have higher stuff. But I think most users, if they don't want to be annoyed by the checkers, they can just install the extension. It's enough.
Yeah, but from another point of view, when you know that your friends always use private browser, so indirectly, actually, you might be able to guess some information why he or she keep using the private browser. So that is also linked to the privacy of an individual. And in fact, some of the private browser, even though they have some plugin, so you can see maybe 2 or 3 years ago, some company who provide the plugin actually leak out the information about the user, including the email address, the password, and also the location where the user actually used that plugin. So all this sensitive information can be linked to any other information to infer an individual.
Yeah. Yes, and also like extensions can be dangerous itself. Like for example, with Google Chrome, you can both install the extension from the store and also install the code from another person and manually plug it in. If you are not verified like what the extension do, they may do some like like some other stuff that you don't like. Like for example, I install a checker protection. They block the checker from Facebook, but instead it send my browser activity to another third party. And yes, the extension is not working as it's supposed to do. And it's a real case for many viruses attack into extensions. Like normal user, they just like intuitively say like, I don't want to see Facebook ad. I will install an extension to block the Facebook. So on hackers saying, hey, you install this, apply in your computer, and it works. And they just normally let it do, but don't know what under the hood.
Yeah.
So I think like it's quite good advice, like when you install something, try as much as you can what the software do.
Yes, so as you said, there seems to be no way to be truly anonymous
Yes.
online. Yeah, so another question is, since so many people are actively trying to be, does it really matter that they are anonymous? Or should they focus on being secure instead of trying to be anonymous and unseen?
I think like trying to be anonymous is I think with normal user we should not try to be totally anonymous, because when going to higher level anonymous, we need to apply higher level of knowledge and technology. Just follow some tutorial online, like you don't know what this program is for, you install it, you use it, and you just believe that this work, but maybe it's not. So not trying to be anonymous, you should focus on more practical thing, like if some some application collect your data and use for recommendation, why not? Yes, you can have better experience, and also don't need to install too much thing into your computers. With me is
Yeah, anonymity actually linked to your experience. For example, when you use Google Chrome or any browser, normally you will try to create your profile, and then you will try to store the bookmark, so that when you go to any other computer, when you log in, you can get back all those information. So the moment you create a profile in any website, any system, it means that you are no longer anonymous. When you want to be anonymous, it should be in the sense that nobody can trace your activity, nobody can do a profiling about you. So one idea is that, for example, if you want to search online, anything you enter into the search engine will start to create some profile about you. So how can we solve that problem? We have something called it as something like, instead of I'm searching, it will go through another person to help me to do the searching, and then another guy will send me the search result. But this kind of process actually takes time. It means that it will definitely reduce your the user experience. And also we have something called the onion router. You know what is an onion, right?
Yeah, you
right. So the onion router means that you will have many layers. So if you want to be fully anonymous, you may use the onion router browser, where they try to go through different layer so that the browser or the service provider, they couldn't trace you. But we have to pay in terms of the experience. You might not be able to get a quick result, or some of the result might be filtered out. So that would be the trade-off between the anonymity and also the user experience.
And also about forensic stuff, like digital forensics, like if you do something, they will have some fingerprints, and the method that professor say, like the onion router, is just reduce the probability of being reviewed. So I think like if you not that need the anonymity, maybe give something to the provider and have better user experience. I think even with me, I really rarely use some very anonymous stuff, because I'm just a normal user.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about how to prevent cyber attacks and cyber leaks. So I want to pose the question, how to react when we've been compromised for our data or for our information.
The first thing you need to do, I think this is very common even in Vietnam, where you receive some messages from your Facebook friend asking for some help in terms of the money. I think this happened to many VinUnians as well. They receive a message, a private message from their friends in the social media, and then asking for help. They say that they are in emergency, and then they are asking for some help in terms of the money and all these things. So I would say that awareness is really important in this context. We should not really fully utilize the online social media for this kind of activity. including buying from the social media is another important thing. If you buy from like Shopee or Lazada, because they are trusted platform, and there are many sellers on the social media as well, the first thing is nobody can guarantee whether you are going to get your product or not. And also, once you make any transaction for the first small amount, then the seller, or we call it as the attacker, might use that information to actually trying to get more money or maybe more benefit from you. Yeah, that is what I see.
Yes, I think if about the case of professor, the banking will ask you OTP to fill it. You maybe have some set of secret question, like for someone ask your money, you can ask them like why you ask for, or something like more related to your personal stuff. So I think like not everyone will give money to your just normal friend, but only close friend. So maybe only close friend know this, and I think it's quite good thing to do it. And back to your question about the reaction to the cyber attacks, maybe you want to hear about both user and like the corporation, right?
Yeah, I want to focus more on the user.
User, yes. So about cyber attack, as we classified before, is maybe both of the fault of us and the fault of the companies themselves. For our fault, maybe just try to contact to the authorized. Like if you send the money, you may ask the bank for revert. I think I have this is a fun story. I have two cards. I send money from one card to the other card, but I forgot that I sent it, and I will freak out that, oh, where's my money gone? And I asked the banks, and yeah, they did it very well, and it say like, oh, you send to another card. Yeah, I think the legality is for in Vietnam, I think it's enough for you to take back your money. And yes, remember to fix your faults. Don't do it again. If the faults go for about the corporation, about the companies, like some company leak out their data, I think we don't have too much thing to do. But yes, it often they say like the prevention is better than the cure, and I think it's one good practice is you should not post everything of your stuff online. It may minimize your risk of being reviewed.
Yeah, so the thing that I acquired here is that we should always maintain a healthy sense of doubt and curiousness towards this matter, and we should always be cautious. And instead of trusting everything blindly, we should be able to question it and question why that is the way it is. So I think that we've cleared up the shroud surrounding and the uncertainty that surrounds cybersecurity. So now that we want to ask you for if you can just give one advice towards our listener to be safe online, what would it be?
Maybe my first. With me, I think is just try to know what you are doing with. If you are clicking a link, try to know what will drive you in. If you are using an app, try to know what is inside. And I think one quite good skills that everyone should learn is digital literacy. And this skill will provide you some most basic things, both how to using computers well and computers using it securely. There are some course online on Coursera about the digital literacy, and this is free. And yeah, spend some of your free time on this. And I also think about what about a digital detox? Yes, should not surfing the net too much. Try to do something else, both protect our data and also have better life experience.
Good advice.
I will back to the same word about the awareness. So when you use any system online, especially the free system, the social media and all these things, try not to provide your real information. I believe that many of us try to provide even your phone number as the second authentication. I believe that in most of the social media, they will ask for your phone number instead of the email address, right? And then they want to confirm whether you actually have that number. So you can see that providing phone number to the social media is not a good move as a user, because the advertising company, they might be able to get our information from there. And even when you try to click on any advertisement in your Facebook that you do not want to see, they will ask you more questions. For example, when you want to do a reporting, so they will ask you why you do not want to see this video or ad. So when you choose because it's too sensitive or whatever reason that listed there, actually they are trying to collect your information at the moment as well. So many people in my area, they think in this way. In order for us to have a better protection, we cannot protect it completely, but it will be good if we can have some diluted information. So if you understand what is the meaning of diluted, means that if you always search for anime online, then the Google or any search engine, they will be able to know you are interested in these things. But if you try to post a random video or random link, or you try to provide different information online, which is not really your real information, so indirectly we can reduce the user profiling accuracy. However, it will affect your experience when you talk about recommendation system and so on. But still, you cannot get rid of all these things, because the moment you register for the online social media, the moment you have your internet ink or internet tattoo online, which is impossible for you to remove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I add one last thing? I think just pop up my mind. I think one thing that we often work with is the password. Like for example, when I was a small child, I have my email is THØNG Anh blah 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 blah, and my password is THØNG Anh. And many password cracker can have some pattern recognizing, and if they know your hang properly, your password will involve hang in this. And I think one good thing is try to make the password hard to guess. And if you find it hard to, of course, hard to guess mean hard to memorize, try to use some password vault. I think they have some good online to have your different account, different password, so that if you reveal one, it may not link to another account. I see some of my friends they're using the same password for every platform, and just imagine some, like for example, a vulnerable account is revealed, so they have the password for every other stuff of you.
Okay, so thank you for your expertise on this matter.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to listen to. So now it's time for us to give back to you. So into this camera, please take a minute to promote whatever you're working on or whatever you're doing.
It's me first. Dear VinUnians, if you are interested in the information security stuff, want to try some hackings, visit VinUni Hacking Club. We are always available on our Facebook page. Yes, and if you want to be maybe a baby hacker, you can apply for VinUni Hacking Club the next year. We are close.
Okay, for any VinUnian or any undergraduate students in Vietnam, if you are interested to work on information security, in particular on the AI security works, you may contact me, and then there will be always an opportunity for me to hire you as my research assistant in my current project. Thank you.
Okay, so that would conclude our first episode of Hi, Can You Explain on Cybersecurity. Please tune in for our next episodes, and thank you for listening.
Bye bye.